I saw the Infowars on feminism when Cytherea got gang raped.
Okay.
And I was really upset about that. They were talking about how like Anita Scarzizian, like she hasn't commented on it at all, and I'm like, yeah, her focus is really like GamerGate, but it's still part of like the bigger picture as a whole.
Right.
And like it was kind of upsetting. And I'm just kind of like, hey, why didn't we talk about that? Like, why is there a big stigma around sex workers?
Okay, so
and why did I find out about it through like sites like Chicks on the Right? Like that was really surprising. And I don't like that it's like been used to further perpetuate this negative connotation on the idea of what feminism is, which is like equality.
you have the feminists who think, they see the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover, they think it's a great celebration of women's bodies, fitness, and all that. And then you also have the other ones, or at least another type of feminists that they call themselves, saying that it's objectifying and it's horrible and it's all these other things.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about that. As a feminist, like I identify it like I don't think it's my personal responsibility to tell someone else who they should be and what they should do, and I really think it's defeating the purpose when we go around pointing out who's more feminist than the other person, and like who's more like liberal or who's more right wing or whatever. Like it just, your guys are forgetting like the idea, which is like it's supposed to be equality and it's a humanist issue, because it's, yes, America has we're pretty free as far as females go, but there are people around the world, little girls that get like sold into a marriage, like they're 7 years old, and then like you look at little boys, like the Quran talks about bedding little boys. It's like a common practice. That's up. I'm not down with child trafficking.
Right. Yeah, we talk about that stuff too. We talk about the rape and mutilation of women in the Middle East, Saudi Arabian women being called terrorists for being able to drive.
Back to like Cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan represents a time right now where like we're in a transitional period as a country. Women haven't had rights for very long, and we're still in that transitional. It's not Star Trek where like everybody's cool.
Talking about GamerGate, can you explain that to me?
Well, as far as my understanding is that like Anita Scarzizian has started a conversation, which is there is sexual objectification of women in video games.
Okay.
And it anatomically doesn't make sense for a female warrior to have giant breasts. Like, that's the deal, and I can understand that. But at the same time, it's like, it's a freedom of expression as far as video games go. And I do think that there needs to be more like positive video games for women, because it's not always about clothes, and it's really discouraging, I think, for little girls to just be constantly bombarded with take care of a baby doll, take care of your clothes.
Well, what about characters like Metroid?
Characters like Metroid, yeah, like we need more strong female like characters. Basically,
from my understanding, what you're saying is GamerGate was pretty much a way to get more positive female characters in video games?
No, GamerGate, they have a big issue because, as to my understanding, like she started a conversation about sexual objectification in women, and there was a backlash from the men of GamerGate and like other video games. They had a big problem with it. They didn't like what she was starting. And then they decided to put her information out to the world, her private, personal information.
Okay, so that's where the gate came in. Okay.
Yeah, well, and like, as a person, like if you were somebody and you just like wanted to talk about something on YouTube and like start a conversation about something, and then to have someone hack into your personal stuff and then put your information out there and then experience death threats on a 24/7 basis.
Right.
Like she couldn't give a speech in a college because somebody said that there would be a shooting worse than Kent State. That's scary. That's fucked up. Like.
Okay, so that's what it was. It wasn't so much what she was saying. It's like how people reacted to it.
Yeah. Like it's not so much like I don't think she's like campaigning to like come down on men. She's just asking, hey, can you really think about how you're treating me as a human being?